Wait. Are we back? Yes, we are. Wonderful. Apparently, even the internet wants to keep me from getting my trophy. But nothing will keep me from getting my trophies. So let's get back to where we stopped. Now, as I was saying, we can find multiple tinderboxes throughout this area. The question is, why? You see there's 2, but why would we need so many tinderboxes? No, it could be just a gameplay detail. The developers not wanting people to get soft-logged in case they use up the only tinderbox they get. So they included more, and that's a good idea. However, I don't think it's that simple. Mostly because you can still run out of tinderboxes like this. I mean, yes, you have to use up quite a lot, and there's a small chance of that happening by accident, but it's possible. There are enough candles and light sources that you can light for you to completely run out of them. Right now we have 5. Yeah, you're back. Yes, I am. My apologies for the little hiccup in my internet. Talking about lights. Actually, yes. Yes, I am talking about lights. Because we were given the advice, let the light guide you. And I'm not sure what that means. Now we have this door, and someone angry is behind it, but we can't open it. So that's alright. Now we have these bookshelves. As you can see, nothing behind them. Not much on them that we can use, but that's why I have this box, because if you are short to reach, get yourself a box. And you can see there's absolutely nothing here. Stop it! You're staying on that side. Now on this side, once again, there's not much. I guess we could technically get up onto these beams. I'm not sure if that would help us any. And we have this one bookshelf which hides an interesting little secret right here. This is a letter that is connecting, I do believe, this game to the Portal franchise from Valve, and there is actually a trophy you get if you find this letter, but it doesn't really help us much. It mentions the Lumina projection box and the puzzle lock, but that's pretty much all. Now the Lumina projection box is the one we can light, and the puzzle lock is the one we would need to somehow solve. Other than that, we can't do much here. Now here we have the puzzle itself.
Who are you? Who's there?
And this is, I do believe, the puzzle. Now on the other side of this wall is the priest, who is, I do believe, in quite a predicament. And here we have a journal that we will look at a bit later. The list of the slides and paintings. I think this is Justine's father and this is Justine. And this is possibly either Justine's mother or just an older version, a current version of Justine. No. Why this is a bit confusing, because I had multiple ideas, and since I can't save, I can just try them all at once. So we have some tinderboxes, and maybe the idea is that we shouldn't do the obvious. There's actually another note here, and this links this game with the Dark Descent, in which Herbert, who was, I do believe, the professor Daniel went to Algeria with, he requested Justine's father's help to actually get to Algeria. I require passage into Algeria and I need Frenchmen of great standing to watch for my person. So this actually connects the two games, which is a nice little thing, and we will have another letter that connects the games even further. And we have this results. Alright, the tests have been going well. The most long term and in a sense the most promising one is the light box, so the one we are struggling with now. Having Justine choose a slide, essentially a mood for every day, is a great way to see the larger overall development of her mind. She definitely reads things into the slides I had not foreseen. Her remarkable imagination turns the characters into just about anything, and she's able to effortlessly reduce all her experiences into one of the 4 character slides. Using the puzzle lock has proven more difficult, as she tends to always choose 2 slides with characters facing the same way. I have asked her why this is, but she doesn't seem to fully understand what I am asking. Now maybe there is a hint in this writing that I'm just missing. Entirely possible. But I have to say that's not a lot of information we were given. You can also use up one tinderbox here just to make some light, but we will not waste the tinderboxes. So one of my ideas was lighting these chandeliers, since they are leading this way forwards, and that would light our way. So I'm trying to take Justine's words literally. Let the light guide you. So we have to do something with light. Now this room is where we can leave. You see, this is the only bookshelf that is touching the wall behind it, and you can even see the little light shining through beneath it, as well as the scratch marks it leaves as it opens. So we have to get this thing to open somehow. The only way so far Gotta go, but have a good rest of stream. Thank you very much, Visali, and you have a wonderful day yourself. I greatly appreciate you joining me today. So the only way I figured out how to do this was by murdering the priest, which is not a good way. And I'm not sure what else I can do. I had an idea to light any lamps or candles in this room, but I don't think there are any that I can light now that I look around. Always a pleasure, thank you very much. There's actually nothing I can light. That's fun. Alright. So what can we light is the question. Because that changes things a whole lot. You see here, we have candles all around, but some are not lit. Like this one, that's one. This one, that's two. And this one, that's 3 candles that I can lit. I can also lit this lamp here, I think, and I can lit the puzzle box. And that would actually mean that I can light everything, so I might have been wrong about this. Let me try. So the shadow box is lit. I had this one idea to light all the candles in this room. Maybe that would do something. Who knows? I don't think anything changed or moved because of that, but would be an interesting idea. We still... oh wait, no, we have this one as well. So all the ones on the walls are lit. This one is not lit. In this room, I don't think we can light anything, and I think we have collected all of the tinder boxes, but I will check, because you see, the odd part is that we find 5 tinder boxes and we can light 6 things. Why not give 6 tinder boxes? What's the point? Because here we can light this, and most people, I would think, lights it just so they can actually look around and see what they are doing. Maybe there's a tinder box somewhere hidden in one of the corners. Interesting that I can't move any of the boxes except for one. It would be fun if I found a tinder box in one of these, but I don't think that will happen. Okay, why can I pick that up? It's really odd how the game lets you pick up some items but not others. I can pick up one box, but I can't touch any of these. And that's why it's quite puzzling, because it's not so obvious what I need and what I not need. What's that on the top? A mirror? It's really fascinating in a way how they made this puzzle much more difficult just by introducing items that you don't need. Like a rug. Why would I need a rug? But then again, why wouldn't I need a rug? Who knows? Do I need a rug? Just absolutely full of questions. I don't think I can light these. But I will try it, because I'm insane like that. Yeah. We don't talk about how that is possible. But yeah, that's okay. That's fine. So we used up all of our tinder boxes, all 5. There's nothing here. Maybe I can move one of the candles, lamps, something really simple. No, I know there are books you can take off the shelves, not all actually. And interestingly, this shelf has no books on it at all. However, as much as I tried before, I could not find anything else on these shelves. I found the 2 other letters that I showed you, the one with the portal reference and the other one from Professor Herbert, but nothing else. I can move this painting. I can move this painting. I can move the chairs, so the chairs are going out. I can't light this. I can break the wine bottles.
You'll burn for this.
Yes.
Burn for this.
Don't you worry. So, I don't think I need a saw, but you know, who knows? You never know when you need a saw. A handy saw. I do believe that is Justine herself. Maybe we can use these chairs to get on top of those beams that I mentioned earlier. This is another painting, but I can't do anything with it. As you might have guessed, I'm somewhat entirely stuck. And I know that I'm avoiding the puzzle itself a great deal. Because my idea is maybe I don't even have to worry about the puzzle, just like how in the previous chamber I didn't have to do anything with the lever that would actually lower a ladder from the ceiling. I had to kind of work around it. Oh, that should... yeah, that works. That's good enough for us. I'm pretty sure this will not work. Okay, now, let's see if I can break my neck jumping atop this. Ah! Yeah. Yeah, that was not a bad attempt at breaking my neck, I would say. Come on, come on. It's higher than it was. Oh, you little shit. Okay, maybe put it on top of 2 of them. Here you go. Perfection. You... okay, let's see like this. Maybe if we see something, that could mean that we are not just chasing illusions. We are chasing illusions, aren't we? Okay. Now, With this idea out the window, let's see the slides. The first one, and I will need a piece of paper for this, a bigger piece of paper. So we have number 1. Number 1 is looking to the left. Why is that important? Because in his notes the father said that when Justine is asked to choose 2 slides, she always chooses ones facing the same way. So I think that means this one is facing to the left. Or maybe I'm completely wrong. Number 2, I said number 2, is the one with the sword, and once again it is facing to the left. Okay. Third one is facing to the right. It's a man crouching or bowing down, taking a bow. And that is to the right. And we have number 4, kind of a proud man, also looking to the right. Now we just have to figure out how the heck this works. Now, during my initial runs, I came to the conclusion that, first of all, if you put slide number 2, so the one with the sword, into the top slot, that kills the priest right away. I'm not sure if there is a difference between the top and the bottom slot, but we have 2 of them. So let's go against logic and just pull this lever. So this hurts him but doesn't kill him. But the way out is still closed. Not good.
And he shall reign omnipotent.
The question is, do we get unlimited tries? Because when I tried, I realized after a point that after 3 tries, you kill him no matter what. But in this case, I am not trying, in a way, because I'm not using any of the slides. Yes, indeed, it opens, but he dies. So, we get 3 tries. And the 4th one is a kill. Even if you don't use any of the slides that we have. Now, obviously, we screwed up this time, but that's okay. What we need is one of the notes, and that is with the soul journal entries. So this is written, I do believe, by Justine, and we have 4 entries, and I think those 4 somehow correlate to the 4 slides. I'm just not sure how. So we have Justine age 8, 9, 10 and 11, which is tricky because in a way they might be in a certain order, but we can only choose 2. And we don't know any number combination that we might need. so I don't think the age is important. Today I played outside with Clarice. We saw a bird pick at a snail. It carried it off and landed on the lawn fence. The snail had a shell and it cracked. Clarice cried and I comforted her. The new maid heard us and came out and scolded Clarice for playing with me. The bird took off into the air. Today I was the one with open arms. So from this I thought the one with the open arms has to do with being nice. Ah, welcome Alice, how are you doing? So in this way Justine was kind to others. I'm not sure if the part with the maid scolding Clarice is important or the bird taking off, but as Justine's father said, Justine kind of associated one slide with one emotion or one event. And my idea is that the connection here is the one with the open arms is being nice or kind. Doing great, that's great to hear. I'm happy to hear that. And what are you up to today? Actually, that's true for everyone. What are you all up to today? Other than watching me struggle and try to sound clever and fail. Today I played with the slides for Father's Lightbox, so these 4. Above all, I like the man standing to the right. Father asked why. I said he see things he likes. Today I was the right one. So the man that I called proud is the one looking to the right, I think. And that is the one slide that Justine liked the most. I said he see things he likes. Now that is interesting because that should I said he. Now who are we talking about? The father or the man standing to the right? I would say the man. But in that case, the sentence would be I said he sees things he likes. And Justine burned down the house, the end. Yes, that would be so nice, but that's not the end, unfortunately. He sees things he likes. He sees things he likes. Why is there no S there? Is there a reason for that? Or that is only an intentional mistake given that this was written by a child? But let's say if it is, what does it mean? He sees things he likes. So this man sees things he likes. And today Justine felt like that, so he felt happy. Let's say that's happiness. Age 10. Father said I picked the wrong slide yesterday when I made the chambermaid cry. He wanted me to pick the one with the sword, while I picked the man on the right. I never picked the one with the sword. Today I was the one kneeling. Now this is interesting, you see. Father said I picked the wrong slide yesterday when I made the chambermaid cry. Originally I thought that Justine literally made the chambermaid cry by picking one of the slides, but I think it's not that. She made the chambermaid cry because of how she acted, how Justine acted. And by pick the wrong slide, the father meant, or maybe this is how Justine translated it, that she didn't act the right way. She behaved incorrectly, in a way. Because he wanted me to pick the one with the sword. We don't know what the sword is, but that is how she should have behaved. But instead she picked the one on the right. We already know the one on the right is when someone is happy, right? So something happened and Justine behaved by showing joy. Maybe something bad happened, right? And she was happy about it. And that kind of aligns with her psychopathic behaviors. But instead, she should have picked the one with the sword. However, she never picks the one with the sword. Today I was the one kneeling. So the kneeling one is when she's sad, I would say. Because, well, it doesn't say that she was scolded for it, for picking the wrong slide. But it's interesting that here she says, I never picked the one with the sword. And that's interesting because if you pick the one with the sword, you kill the priest right away. So the one with the sword is a no-go. That is out of the question. So we should never pick the second. And here she actually says, above all, I like the man standing to the right. Today father came for me in my room. I still couldn't look him in the eyes. Now this is 1 year later, age 11, so it's not the same thing. He said I shouldn't feel ashamed and that I only tried to fill the void left by mother. When he wasn't looking, I took the star stone from his collection. Today I was the one with the sword. Oh goodness. The recent follow and sub is kinda broken. It says like the comment and not the name. You are indeed correct. I guess it broke because of my internet. Let me fix that. Hopefully. Let me see. Everything is connected. So let me take a look. Latest follower. Yes. And latest subscriber. Yes. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I did not notice. I'm so entangled in this puzzle. So what is the one with the sword? Something she never picked before. He said I shouldn't feel ashamed and that I only tried to fill the void left by mother. When he wasn't looking, I took the star stone from his collection. Now I guess that would mean... Well, it could be two things. One is that she shouldn't feel ashamed, or how I tried to understand it originally was that she was bad because she took the star stone from her father's collection when he wasn't looking. So I say that the sword is when someone is doing something bad and the one with the open arms is when someone does something good. The right one is when someone is happy, and the kneeling one is when someone is sad. That's my idea. Now here, she clearly said that I never pick the one with the sword. And it is true that if you pick the one with the sword, you will kill the priest right away. So what we are going to do now is restart the game, because we love restarting the game. Quickly run through everything. I won't even bother with the notes at this point. I will just grab the ladder and try to figure out the remaining parts. No. Originally, I cannot skip. Originally, I tried all the combinations without the sword, and I don't think any of them worked. But this is a new day, this is a new attempt. And every now and then, when you really get stuck on something, it's a good idea to stand up, take a few steps back, and give yourself a bit of time to clear your head, so you are not just following the same ideas again and again.
Bienvenue. You are now listening to the sound of my disembodied voice. It will serve you no purpose to look for me.
Yes, yes, I know.
I bid you welcome to my cabinet of pertinence.
So the question is, to me, is there really a combination that we have to figure out, or the entire combination thing is just the wrong way to go about it? And that's why I always got the priest murdered, even though I didn't want to. Good question.
Whoever you are, if you could help me, I would be much obliged.
Yes, I know you would be. Nah, let's go, let's get the barrels. I still don't know if I can open this or not, this cellar hatch. I will not even pick up the laudanum, because honestly there's no point.
Set things right.
Huh. Oh, come on. Oh, you can do better than that, Justine. Please. I didn't tell you to become an athlete. I just said please jump on top of a barrel. Oh, come on, you can do it. Alright, apparently you can't do it. Let me help you out. Here's a box. Here's another box. And here's a third box. Now you might be asking, if she couldn't jump up from one barrel to another, why would adding the same sized boxes on top of each barrel help? And the answer is, it shouldn't. It should not help her jump up at all. But I'm curious if it will help. Yeah, don't ask me why that worked, because I don't think it should have. Because you see here, we kind of bypass the puzzle in a way. And that's why I'm not sure if the slides are really important in the second chamber, but they are all I can go off of. And that's my trouble with this game, that it's clever and it's difficult, at least for me, but I feel like there's not enough information given sometimes, and more often than not I kill someone not because I want to, but because I don't know what I'm doing. So here we are back in the library. And we'll see what we can do. Now, in theory, we don't need any of the tinder boxes because we know which slide is which. We also don't need any of the letters because we already read them. We only need the slides. But I will, just for the fun of it, pick up what I think is important. Come on. I think there's one tinderbox here. And here is the last slide. No, we have 5 tinder boxes, right? And last time I lit up this candle, and I lit up this candle, and I lit up this candle, right? And I also lit up this lamp right here. And I lit up the shadow box. But this time I want to try something, because every time I did this, I remember I lit up the shadow box first because we need that, right? And then I either lit up that lamp and then realized that I don't have enough tinder boxes to light all the candles here, or I lit up all the candles including this one. But this time I lit up the lamp, I light up these candles, and I skip the shadow box. So this time I cannot light this one. I never did this before. Does it change anything? Probably not. This is still closed, but it was worth a try. Now then, we have 3 tries with this. If we just keep pulling the lever and no slide, we still kill him, so that's no good. Now let's get another piece of paper, because we can never have enough pieces of scrap paper and notes strewn about my desk. And let's see, we are not using the second one because it said that we... Well, it didn't say that we shouldn't, but I will go on the logic that these entries are important. And here she says that I never picked the one with the sword, so the sword is out. That's number 2. And here Justine says, right, that she played with the slides from Father's light box. Above all, I like the man standing to the right. The man standing to the right. We only have one of those. Because even if we look at the fact that there are 2 characters facing to the right, one is kneeling down. Right? So that's not good. So the one that is looking to the right and that I figured to be connected to happiness in a way is number 4. And a little tidbit that I noticed, and again, maybe I'm just reading way too much into it, but she says above all, meaning that it will be in the top slot right here. So we take number 4, put it here. No, what's the other one? Good question. It's not number 2, we know that. So we have happiness. We don't have bad things. We don't do bad things because that's connected to the sword. So obviously doing something bad would kill the person, and that's actually how it works. So that's good. But not necessarily good, but it makes sense. Now we have 2 other slides, number 1 and number 3. 1 is the one who is connected to nice things. That's the man with the open arms, I think. So here it says that she comforted Clarice, right? That's a nice thing. The other one is the kneeling one that I'm still a bit confused about what it means, because picking the sword here, I translate that as doing something bad and not being sad, because here she did something how would you call it, deceptive, you know, stealing the star stone from her father's collection. And that's what puzzles me a bit, because it says he wanted me to pick the one with the sword while I picked the man on the right. So instead of doing something bad, Justine acted happy. No, the happy part makes sense, as I explained that maybe something bad happened, and because she acted in a cheerful manner, that is what made the chambermaid cry. But I'm not sure. It could also make sense here if these were not at different ages but just days. He said I shouldn't feel ashamed and that I only tried to fill the void left by mother, so that could be something with the chambermaid, but I don't think they are connected since an entire year possibly went by in between them. So what do we have? Either the one with open arms or the one that is kneeling down. Now here in the results, it is said that she tends to always choose 2 slides with character facing the same way. If the one is the top one right now is the one facing to the right, then the bottom one should also face to the right, and that is the kneeling one. That is number 3. So if we go on what Justine did before or how she acted in the past, this might work.
Look out for Justine. That's human. She may still be close.
Wow. And we actually did it. So there is one combination that gets it right. And that is important, you see, because of this recording.
I wonder, is Father David with his God now? Maybe you helped him there. Don't you worry. I'm sure he didn't have a family. He probably wasn't even all that well liked. With the current political climate, I'm surprised someone hasn't killed him already. We can't all be saved. Some don't even want to be saved. Yes, that is a comforting thought. Saves us from trying.
So this is it, saves us from trying, because you have to try different combinations, and I'm sure there are a few players who figured out right away what the combination was, and it took me a lot of time to figure out the combination. But I'm actually happy that I did, and maybe why I didn't try this combination before was the fact that I always went in the order of their number. So I tried 1, 3, 1, 4, and then 3, 4. And then I said, well, I used all the combinations. Yes, but the order was important. It's 4, 3. So I am honestly happy that I didn't brute force my way further into the puzzle or through the puzzle during the last stream, but instead I gave it some time and decided to return to it, because now with a clear mind I mostly forgot about the combinations that I tried. I only knew that I shouldn't try the one with the sword, number 2. And this way I could go through my own logical steps of figuring out what the solution might be, and it actually worked out, which I'm really happy about. Welcome in, Elliot. Thank you for the hydrate. So even though I certainly tried more times than I would like to admit, I am happy that it wasn't just me trying different combinations, but maybe figuring out what the logic was behind the entire idea and what those notes really meant. So I'm really happy that I spent 2 hours trying to figure it out now. But here, now we have to survive, because if we die here, ooh, that would be a bit embarrassing. I think I don't have to come this way. Oh no, really? Do I get an itchy nose right now? Oh, come on. Don't do that with me. No, I'm not going to sneeze. There's a creature right next to me. I think it cannot really see anything, but still. Yes, I can't light these. What a shame. Oh no, my nose is so itchy. Stop it. Yes, into the dungeon. Ow, what is happening? Safely! Are you trying to get me killed? Stop it! So actually let the light guide you was not a hint, so the game is not that mysteriously written. Good to know. You know, the nibbles, that's nice, but don't poop my nose in these high-stress situations.
I'm sure you have figured out how it all works by now. Are you enjoying my quips? I think they are quite clever. Not that I was ever much of a conversationalist. Poetry has always been my forte. But I digress. You should press on. It will all be over soon. Also, the police are here. Maybe they can help you.
So here we have a bit of a puzzle part that is not too long. But what she said here is actually clever. Well, the police, we already know that the third prisoner or victim is a policeman, so that's why she says that the police is already here and maybe he or they can help you. But I do think that these puzzles are quite clever and I do enjoy them a great bit. And in that recording that we can listen to after the second trial, it's actually really cleverly written how she says that the priest was probably disliked and someone would have murdered him, or some people just don't even want to be saved, and that saves us from trying. And that's really clever, both in the way that it uses different meanings of the verb save, but also how if you don't figure out the puzzle right away, then you try a combination, and especially if you include the one with the sword, you kill the priest right away. And I think in the beginning she actually mentions the one kneeling, so you might get this idea that you have to put together the kneeling figure and the one with the sword as being knighted or being blessed or something like that. At least I got that idea. And then you have to start again because the game doesn't save. You cannot reload the checkpoint. You have to try again, literally. And it's really clever how it tells not only the character but really the player that it's a comforting thought because it saves us from trying, not only in the way that we are trying to save someone, but retrying the game, because we have to restart and go through everything. And it's clever that this is the second trial, because you can really quickly get through the first either way, but it's still an annoyance, it's a nuisance, and you would rather not. So it really cleverly plays with this idea that it's easier to kill the priest and move on right away than to retry the combinations. And that's really clever, because that puts human life's value into perspective, and also just the gaming behavior, the consequences of action and the choices really cleverly shows that, and I do like that. And I just think about it now, really, how it puts all that into comparison cleverly. So let's not go there because we don't have to. We have this letter here. This is the other one that I mentioned that links this game to the first one. This is from Daniel, and this is where he asks for help, because after he goes to the university, after Herbert dies, Daniel gets a hold of Herbert's address book, I do believe, and he writes a letter pretty much to anyone asking for help what might have happened in Algeria and how he could survive, and that is actually how Daniel finds Alexander. But overall, I have to say, as much as I had the trouble with this DLC, with how vaguely it is told, because you don't really get information about certain things. You have to go a bit trial and error, and I don't necessarily like that, because yes, it is a game, but I think once you sacrificed one of the characters, it's not a big deal to sacrifice them again or mess up again. So I really like that idea that you start the game, and if you really don't want to kill someone, you have to look around, and it becomes more and more enticing to pull that lever and just move on, but you don't want to, because you don't want to kill someone. And that's why I think clear indications of how you can mess up would have been nice. If the recording mentioned that you, in the first trial for example, you can just pull the lever but then the prisoner dies, or in the second that be careful because you only get 3 tries or something like that, so you know the rules of the game. Because like this, I really felt like that I didn't want to kill someone, I just wanted to figure out what this machine is, because originally I found the slides and I put them in different order into the shadow box and nothing happened, and then I find the lock with the lever and I was thinking, oh, maybe the slides fit into this, but how does this work? There is no explanation that, oh, you should put the slides into the machine and then pull the lever, and there may or may not be a right combination. And that's actually clever, and you could have seen that, or you probably saw it in the last 2.5 hours, that I wasn't sure that there is a right combination, and I looked for other ways. So the game is clever with being quite scarce with the information, and I do like that. The only bits of confirmation I would want are how to kill the characters, because otherwise you could say that, yeah, you just have to figure out that there's the box, you put the slides in, or you don't put the slides in, because it could have been that you only use one slide or none at all, like you don't put any of them into it and just pull the lever. But figuring out something when a life is at balance is a bit different. And to figure out that, yes, you get 3 tries. I had to kill the person multiple times to see the pattern, because I didn't know that, oh, it was the third one that bad that I killed them, or I only get 3 tries. And because I use the sword, sometimes I kill them with the first try, sometimes I maybe kill them with the second, with the third, and only know that I pull the lever without care. I realize, oh, I get 3 tries. Even if I don't get the wrong combination, the 4th one will kill them. It's a good question if I get the right combination on the 4th pull, will it work or not? So there are little interesting logical questions. And how the game is coded, so I do appreciate that aspect of the game. But I only kind of reached this point of, okay, let's try out this combination, let's go with a more mathematical mindset, and let's look at the combinations and how many ways we can do this. Do we want to use 2 slides or 1? Is the order important? What can I do differently? I only got to this point because I killed the priest so many times, and that sounds terrible, that I didn't care. And I think that's where the game loses some of its impact. That impact of, oh shit, I just murdered someone. Because I never wanted. I always felt like it happened because of an accident, because I didn't fully understand the puzzles. And even after completing the puzzles, I feel like that, yes, there were some hints, there were some information given, and some you had to figure out, but it wasn't really an obvious thing. And I kind of compared this DLC to the Saw movies, and what I like in those movies in a way that I was missing here is in the Saw movies you have the little TV playing the tape recording, just like here we have the gramophone recordings. But their Jigsaw, as far as I can remember from most of the movies, he always stated the rules. Like, you have to do this under this time, do whatever you want, and this is your goal. So if you are a Saw fan, or you watch those movies, you will understand that I'm obviously talking about the traps that John created, not the unbeatable ones. But there I felt like the game, quote unquote, is set up so the participant, as much as they don't want to participate, they know the rules. Here I felt like there is a game, but I'm never really given the rules. I have to figure everything out myself, and because it's not necessarily that easy, or I'm just not really good at these kind of puzzles, because I mean, I could have figured out that I have to use the bloody leather in the first trial, fair enough. But after a point, because I couldn't figure out anything else, I said, okay, let's pull the lever, because let's see what the heck happens. I think it will kill the person, but I'm not sure, because it was never explained to me. So I think this game and this puzzle is smart and also puzzling. I think that's the best kind of mix that I can think of. Makes you think, which is I do believe is a good thing. A refreshing puzzle game. For sure. No. The other thing that I find interesting about it is that yes, indeed, I had to think. It wasn't just, oh, this is a simple puzzle game, you take the one item that you found and you put it where it has to go, and that's it. It's much more complicated. Drink the water. No, I don't want to drink the water. I'm standing in the water. It's nasty. Of course your colonists in Rimworld are having all sorts of troubles because they are drinking the nest water. So the one thing in this game that makes it a bit different from what or how I imagine it is the fact that this game was set up by Justine for Justine. Oh shit. And so how my idea is more like trying to make an innocent people kill someone else for their own survival. Here the game is much more different. Also, this creature is actually saying Justine, which is a nice detail. And indeed, I do believe they cannot see us. This is one of the 3 friends. And now we are running. We are running, and we are running big times. To the crypt. Let me see. Rimworld would kill so many people if you had to give them water too. Oh, they don't drink water in Rimworld. I see. Oh, Justine had overdosed on lithium before and had a pretty good idea of what effects to expect. Oh, so she also drugged some of these people. Silly me, I do not know what the effects of lithium overdose is. I think lithium is actually metal found in batteries, but that's about it. Lick the monster. Well, right now you are licking the monster. I hope you enjoy it. I do. She made some self-study, indeed, in a way. And I hope we actually saved the policeman, because I made sure that I turned the wheel all the way.
Inspector Moreau, are you still with us? I'm looking forward to see if you managed to save him or not. I know very little about him, but surely he had a family, don't you think? Poor, poor, fatherless children. But he falls on his own sword. His kind is not meant to come for people like me. Laws are made for credits. The aristocracy doesn't need to know right from wrong. We are always right.
So yes, this is the part where it is shown and becomes obvious that indeed Justine is a tad bit self-entitled. She also sees people in graves, I do believe. That was one thing that happened before. And we have plenty of graves here. I never heard about a crypt being underground like this in the basement of a castle, but maybe it's a thing. Oh, come on, pick it up. So this is an unfinished letter, which is interesting. Back to Herbert from Justine's father, I do believe. No bodies this time? No, no bodies. Okay. I thought there are bodies in the graves, but no. And we also have this lovely statue. Quite nice, if you ask me. What was Mother like? She was the most beautiful creature ever to grace this world. I can't remember what she looked like, no matter how hard I try. Her beauty was blinding, Justine. We could never dare to chain such memory to our minds. It would be too much to bear. Again, that's a really nice way of saying it, in my opinion. And let me see. Lithium is mostly prescribed for psychosis. Really? That's interesting. I did not know about that. Thank you for telling me. It all made sense, he thought. We all appreciate symmetry. Everyone is comforted by the causality of logic. It gives the impression of a grand plan and that we may be able to grasp the inner workings of this perfect universe. You see, his wife had died while giving birth to his son. That is why he was able to forgive. His family was just giving in to the symmetry. That's interesting of an idea. It's something that I could see a psychologist or a philosopher say, but it's not necessarily wrong, because you see, there is something to people being almost obsessed with the idea of the world working on some grand plan and looking for patterns and rules. Now let me see. Lake the Monster might end worse. I will become a T-Rex skull? Oh goodness. And then I will die? Are you a cat by any chance? Because I know that big cats, their tongues have little razor-sharp kind of spikes on it, so if you ever in a situation where a large cat, and not the house kind of cat, would want to lick you, it actually starts to rub off your skin, because you see lions, tigers and the likes, they eat the meat off of a bone, but there's still some scraps remaining, and then they lick them clean. So that's actually the reason why their tongues are like that. And if you ever see a video of someone in a zoo or some specialized animal retreat, these people who handle large cats or big cats, they let the cats lick them, but they always move. So for example, if the cat is licking their forearm, they are always twisting their arm, so it's not always in the same spot, because that would really hurt after a while. I'm assuming why they don't hurt each other, because they have fur. Now let me see. And batteries, yes, that's the part I knew about lithium. Too much can make you essentially numb. So licking batteries is not a good idea. Noted. Yeah, that's why my pawns die, to keep the symmetry. I'm not even commenting on that. No. Pineapple has enzyme that digest, so pineapple eats you while you eat pineapple. That's fascinating. But I think most of the time, the human eating the pineapple wins. However, I heard that there are little needle-like structures in a pineapple, so that's why when you eat it, your mouth, the insides of your mouth kind of gets irritated by it. Don't eat pineapple too slow. You see? You see Alice? Alice always has some wisdom to share. Most of the time, yes. But if you can dig up a case for me where the pineapple won, I would love to read that police report.
Well done. You have triumphed, conquered my cabinet. I wish I could tell you how you did, but alas, this is a recording. You will have to figure it out all by yourself. Did anyone survive? The doctor? The priest? Or perhaps the policeman? Who is allowed to live? Why? You should really reflect on these past events and consider what they meant to you, what you have learned about your true nature. Father never knew me. He thought he did, but then he was frightened. And nothing was ever the same again. I can still see him, lying there on the floor. He looked so surprised. The star-shaped soapstone stained by his blood fell to the floor with a sonorous thud. Blame me not, for I was but a child. With careful ambition, I dare to smile. Rest in peace, Papa.
So this is really clever. This is where we learn that the recordings are made by Justine. It has a few interesting details. One is how this entire game that Justine set up is, I'm guessing, a way of self-discovery for herself. And that's really the part where I think her demented mind comes into play, because I don't fully understand how she would get any results out of this, how, as she says, who was left to live and why. Now in my case, because, well, there was a trophy connected to it, and also, don't challenge me with things like this, because I will figure out the darn thing. But in the case of Justine, I understand that even though she says that she knew certain people just a bit, I think in the case of the policeman she said that they were all connected in a way through this story that we learned. Now I'm still not sure who is who, and the three gentlemen who survived, who got killed, because we only see one, or maybe there are three of these creatures. I'm honestly unsure, because there are not many differences in their appearances. So maybe there are multiple of them and there are three of them roaming around here. I would be interested in what happened to them and why Justine went about torturing them into these creatures. And obviously the creatures are trying to kill Justine for a reason. But here most of the spotlight is on the three elder gentlemen, the doctor, the priest, and the policeman. And actually it's a good question why the priest is even here. I would assume that has to do something with Justine's perhaps dislike towards religion, but this is only my guess, that maybe her father disliked or her it's a bit complicated, but because I would think that Justine disliked her father, because we actually learn about how he was trying to do these tests on Justine and learn about how the human mind works. So she wasn't necessarily a daughter of his, but more like a test subject, and that's why even here Justine says that after she killed her father with that stone that was actually mentioned in the last journal, in the second trial, she dared to show a smile. So she was really reserved with emotions, I think, because her father was trying to make sense of everything, and the same thing is true with whatever Justine did and their connection with the shadow boxes. Let me see. I'm sure a big amount of pineapple can be used to murder someone and turn the corpse into something unrecognizable. That would be a lot of pineapples. I never heard about pineapple killings, but that sounds terrifying. And also, ouch. Do you like the taste, by any chance? I also do like that. I would assume that he's a left arm. I'm not sure. And on my model, you can see the left arm exposed. So Zeph is taking advantage of that. So I really find it interesting, all the little details that was put into this DLC's tale, because it's not just... In the beginning I was curious, will this be a little additional piece to the story of the original game or something like that, but no, this is a standalone story, and it is explained with so few notes and details. It's really quite fascinating, but still it is connected to the main game in a really clever way. Nom nom nom. That's what happens when you don't wear safety clothes around you. I didn't know that you need to. Good to know. That is when you are near Zeph and there are not enough stones. So Zeph is just biting everyone, if I understand correctly. So it's not a special case. But returning to the game, yes, I really find it clever, and I especially want to highlight the line that was said by Justine here. Blame me not, for I was only a child, I think it was, and it's so nicely written. I love it. Not only putting the not after the verb and not after do, but also using for instead of because. I love it. It's beautiful. Because the greedy ones are stealing my bricks. What? You did not lose any bricks recently, especially since you started to put a rope on them, so I don't know what's your problem. I'm not greedy. And here, because you mentioned bots before, here you have some bots. Even though I still don't know what exactly is happening here. But here we have some bots. And possibly some dead people. And drawings and orbs, maybe again there are some orbs at play here, and that's what made some people go slightly insane. You don't know how many bricks I have? Well, would you tell me? While I close the door. While I go through here. Oh, but... But yes, I find it really clever how even the emotion diary, or whatever you might call it, hinted at some things really cleverly, like how Justine's mother died, and we know that because later on it is confirmed by the grave, but also the line that was something along the lines of Justine was trying to just compensate, I think, for the loss of her mother. No, that's private information. Okay, okay, I understand. And also here with how she made the chambermaid cry, that kind of shows that, you know, things didn't go perfectly with her. How she stole the stone, we learn from the same journal pages, and then later on we get the confirmation from the recording that she killed her father, which is actually the death of her father was hinted at previously during the loading scene, actually, because it said that Justine shouldn't enter, I do believe, the basement. She should ask for permission, but there was no one to ask permission from. So it's really clever how everything kind of makes sense, and it's a really smart way of writing because it's not obviously stated, but it mentions it in regards to something else that is in the forefront of whatever the note is about. Really smart.
And so it comes to an end. Now that you have seen what you truly are, you are able to go on and face eternity without fear, without doubt.
And this is the part where I think this is nothing more than Justine wanting a thrill, being afraid for a moment that she will be crushed between these machines, or rather the walls, and I can try to throw everything at those. There's no point. We are getting crushed here, except, as I pointed out previously, if you are able to jump on this ledge, I think the two ledges would give enough space for someone to survive. But instead, we just decide to take a nap.
This was the best one yet. So elaborate. It's just too much. Enough of this. Get up, Justine.
Well done, child. God be praised. You have saved us, child. Open the door. Hey, you! Almost free. Come on!
New raid from Nekio. What a timing. Welcome in, Nekio, and welcome in, raiders. I'm just about to finish this adventure in Amnesia, Justine. And here you could see, or rather here, that the surviving 3 men, I'm assuming, want to be rescued, but even if I click on this door,
It's already locked, but you can never be too certain.
Justine will not do that. And that, again, shows that indeed this entire game was just a game to her, a thrill ride.
I really should keep this door locked.
And those people are staying logged in there. Even though we, well, quote unquote, saved them or not killed them.
Mademoiselle Justine, are you down there? Is everything all right?
Of course, Clarice, I'm quite all right.
Got a raid and run, but hope you're having a nice stream. Thank you so much. I hope you had a wonderful stream yourself, and please take care of yourself, and that's obviously true for all the wonderful raiders. Please, if you need to, take a drink, get up, do some stretches, and take care of yourselves first. That's the most important. And that is it. The ending of Amnesia, Justine. And we got the last ending, the third ending, that is the third trophy, and the good tale. Let's see what it is, because I am really interested. This took me a long time, and I said in the beginning of the video, or rather the stream, that the daily question is indeed connected to it, and I have to say this was one of the most difficult challenges in a way for me to get through, because I really had nothing to go off of. And I think that's what made it more confusing than anything, because obviously I had more difficult challenges, like playing through Limbo without, I do believe, dying 5 times, or the one I'm trying speedrunning, Little Nightmares. But there the challenge is set, it's clearly stated, and everything is up to how you play the game. So it's a different kind of challenge that comes down to learning the game and perfecting your run. But here you have to figure out what you have to do, and that's just so different in my opinion. But it was certainly a really fun trophy to get, and it's a gold one. What a lovely thing. So we had the Egotist, I do believe, but let me check the pronunciations, because here's the thing, and that's why I love these games with more sophisticated writing, is that I get to see these words that I might know, but I don't really use that often. And that's one of the reasons why I am really happy to start this new series on my Blue Sky with rare and intriguing words, is that more often than not, I know what a word means, but I'm not sure about the pronunciation. And I once heard this really interesting saying that if someone mispronounces something, a word, don't make fun of them, because that means they learned it by reading it from a book. And that's a really interesting way of looking at it, and I don't want to apply it to myself, because if I mispronounce something, please point it out. Don't worry about it, because I want to learn them. But I spend so much time reading and exploring dictionaries and writing little tidbits that my focus was always knowing the words and not necessarily pronouncing the words. So now that I'm live streaming, it's a new experience for me, and I'm still struggling with so many of these words, but I really am happy about it. So an egotist is the first one. I got that right. An exaggerated self of self-importance. So someone who is just too full of themselves, in which case not a single victim survived. The second one, I would want to say that it's vacillator, but I'm not sure. So let's look at it. Yes, a vacillator. Now that I know that someone who hesitates. As the dictionary says, to waver in mind, will, or feeling, hesitate in choice of options or course. And then we have this word, an altruist. One that adheres to or practices altruism, such as an unselfish person whose actions show concern for the welfare of others. That's a really interesting word. I have to say I haven't seen it in a long while. I would say it's slightly rare. So we had one ending where not a single victim survived, one where some victims died, some lived, and one ending where not a single victim died in Amnesia, Justine. And we have a wonderful painting of Justine, and this icon is complemented even more by the frame that is used in these trophies. And I really do like the little detail that if you find a bronze trophy, it has a bronze frame, and if you find a silver one, that has a silver one, and a gold one will have a gold. However, now I just noticed something, and maybe you have noticed too. You see there are pipes here, little cogs in the corner for a machine for pigs, and that is the same with the silver one here and the gold one here. But the original games, that has a different frame. You see, it's much different. So not every trophy has the same frame. That depends on which game it is from. So this one is from the DLC, and this one is from the DLC. This is also from the DLC. This is from the original game, and even this is different. Isn't that lovely? So let's look at that. This is from the original game, and you can see in every corner there is a little line and two dots. Like these metal pieces are nailed in to the corners, and this is the bronze one. And let's look for a silver one. I think we have this one. Yes, it's the same design, but it's silver in color. And then we have this one. This is gold, but the same design. Now, here's the fun part. These two, and how I noticed it, the upper left corner is similar, but it has 2 dots. And the right corner, it has a little leaf-like decoration. And the bottom 2 corners are darker. So this is a silver one. And this is a gold. Right? And here we can actually see the bottom corners a bit more. And the top ones are really nice. But we don't have a bronze trophy in Justine. That's really interesting. We only have gold and silver ones. Now we have these 2 that I already pointed at, and we have one here. And maybe that is in the DLC. Maybe that is a bronze DLC trophy. If they wanted to include one of each kind, because they had this frame, but does it exist in bronze or does it not? And Zeph is already putting out a trap for me, but I will not fall for that trick again. So we only need the platinum trophy. Actually, it's interesting of a question. What will the platinum trophy be? What kind of frame will that have, since this is a collection of 3 games in a way? One is a DLC, but I still think it's, as a standalone experience, it's really fun. And I don't necessarily think you need to play the base game to play the DLC. Partially because the story is not that connected, and most of the gameplay elements are quite self-explanatory. You don't have the oil, so you don't have to worry about the lamp. You can use the inventory and the tinderboxes. Obviously, if you play the original game, then you understand it a bit better, but all in all, I think that that it is a fun experience even on its own. If you know the basics how the game works, and maybe the physics engine a bit, it's interesting that now that we finished the game, only during this playthrough did I really realize and tested that the creatures that are trying to kill us, they can't see. And I mentioned in that workshop that those branding irons were for something really specific, and indeed those were for eyes, and so they can't see, and that is what the drawing was hinting at on the wall. But originally when I saw it, I thought the branding iron was on the wooden block next to the head. But one of the loading scene texts actually hint at the real use of them. So certainly a terrific detail. I'm not sure what the model looks like. Maybe if you look at it from close enough, you can even see the little snail-like pattern burned into the creature's skin. Absolutely terrifying detail, but again, no one said that that Justine is a nice person. Quite the contrary, and I think it is really nicely highlighted in the ending here when even though she didn't kill anyone, right? And you would think, well, you just open the door and let everyone out since you are a hero or something. No. She not only locked one of the doors, well, it was already locked as she mentioned, but put the extra wooden piece there to keep it closed. But she even mentioned on her way up the staircase that she should keep the other door locked. So it is a sick and twisted game of hers. And all three of those kidnapped men and all the three of the young gentlemen who fell in love with Justine and then suffered through a terrible fate. They are stuck in that basement, possibly for the next twisted game of Justine. Who knows what that will be, but certainly will not be nice or pleasant. I have to say that this, I don't know why, it almost sounds more cruel than the Dark Descent tale, because there everyone kind of had a goal and everyone was really goal oriented with all the evil that they have done. But here this is all just a game for Justine. Terrifying. Thank you for the hydrate and stretch. It's not a trap, trust me. Oh sure, it's not, huh? Oh no, not at all. But here's the big question, and I would love to hear your opinion about it, because Schmoozer drew this absolutely beautiful emoticon, and I'm still thinking about this detail. You see, it has this mouse trap and it has the trophy atop as bait. But how big is it? Is it a normal mousetrap and a really tiny trophy, or it's a proper trophy and a really big mousetrap? Because I'm not sure. So if I were to grab that trophy, which I obviously will not even attempt to do, would I get my finger hurt, or would it break my back? It's obviously just a hypothetical question, and I'm not at all trying to consider my options here. But because we are missing this one trophy, I have one last idea that I can try in Justine, and that is, what if we die to this creature? Because I never tried that, I think. Oh wait, I did. I think I did try it. Yes, I did try it, so that's not it. Well, in that case, I have no idea what that might be. I just realized I did get murdered once. In the really beginning, when I thought that the creature was coming from the basement, but it actually appears in one of the cells in the first trial, and after it went through a cell door, it murdered me. But interesting little detail here you can see that same little flask, that bottle on the right, that looks really odd, and it looks out of place, just like in the game it does, and the other bottle that is in the workshop, that looks quite similar. And in the beginning I thought it is a kind of hint that you can do something with it, just like how items you can pick up has this kind of bluish glow. But maybe it is just something with the engine. I would need to check how they look like in another version of the game, maybe on PC. But with that, we are at 75%. And maybe, just maybe, we are finished with Justine's tale for now. We have our rarest trophy for the time being, and I'm really happy that I didn't have to look at the solution. And we have 2 lovely trophies here and 1 secret. Good question what those are, but we have to find these 2. Now, the thing is, really fun trophy speech incoming. I did check the trophy list, and you see I did not look for any solutions for things that I don't know, but if I replay the games, I want to know what I'm looking for. So if I'm looking for the notes, I at least want to know how many notes I need to find. If I'm trying to find all the tinderboxes, I want to know how many I have to find. Because otherwise I would need to replay the game a million times. And I'm pretty sure that would not be really fun, neither for me nor for the viewers. I'm actually not really sure that my viewers were really delighted by the fact that I played another 3 hours of this one short DLC live. But we have the Illuminatus, my apologies, trophy here. And I checked, and it says the following things. And I quote, "Tinderboxes are the consumable item that illuminates flammable items, and this trophy requires you to collect each and every one in Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Really important, there are no tinderboxes in A Machine for Pigs, and even though there are ones in Justine, those are not required. Even though I don't think they would be that difficult to find, especially if I found them all. There are 151 in total, and you are going to need a guide to find them all. There's no chapter select in this game, and you're often blocked from backtracking, so each tinderbox is considered highly missable. So this is what the guide tells me. Now obviously, I will completely disregard the part about me needing a guide, because please, I do not need a guide. I can get lost on my own. Skill issue. Yes. Yes. No, there are 2 notes here, and one is important. There are also tinderboxes to be found in Amnesia Justine, but they aren't required for this or any trophy, which is quite obvious because really nice detail, and I do applaud the developers here, because as much as trophies and achievements are not built-in parts of a game, I do believe they should be considered parts of the game overall, and they should also be considered during the development. And I really like that here they clearly stated the requirements. So because this is a collection, they didn't just copy the achievement text from maybe the Steam version, but they rewrote, at least to the degree that they included the game in which you should actually do the challenge. And I greatly appreciate that. I know games where they are bundled together or they have a shared trophy list, and it's always a guesswork where you have to do it. Especially with DLCs, I found that really annoying, even though on PlayStation that's actually easier, because on PlayStation, just like here, you have the base game, DLCs and maybe updates in different lists. So you know in which part of the game you are supposed to even try that. Now in some cases it is true that you can get the trophies in other parts of the game. There are games like that, and that can be really interesting to find trophies like that, but you get an idea what you are supposed to do. Now on Steam, for example, when a update, a DLC is released, the achievements are just added to the overall list. And if you want to figure out where you have to do a challenge, then you are kind of out of luck, because it's not clearly stated that those achievements are part of an update or a DLC. You can look at the rarity of them, and most of the time the most difficult base game achievements and the update ones are the rarest overall, but that's not an obvious thing. That's mostly because updates and DLCs are released later on and less people buy them or play them, because most of the time, as I know, the games get the most players when the games actually release. So you have to go online and actually look for a list of the added trophy achievements. My apologies. So that's one thing that I always thought Steam should maybe try to update, so the achievements are in groups, or at least you can group them in some way, because that could make things a lot more easier. Now here we have different lists for updates. However, because this is a collection, we have the base game, where 3 games trophies in one list. So we have the hard mode, which is probably play through The Dark Descent on hard mode, because I think only that game got this update, and I do not want to know about what hard mode is, at least for the time being. Illuminatus, we are looking for 151 tinderboxes, and I have a really handy list, a table here in front of me. It's on PSN Profiles, the trophy tracking website that I use. It's in a guide, and someone was really nice and not only included a playthrough of the game, which I will not watch, but also an entire table. So I know that there are not only 151 tinderboxes in the game overall, but I know in every area how many tinderboxes I have to find. So I will not look at where they are, I will go through the game and I will try to find them all, but I know exactly that in the rainy hall, which is in theory the first area, there are 5 tinderboxes. And I can pay attention that I find them all. And I love that. The number of notes and diary entries are also here. In theory, I think there are 44 notes and diaries in the game, but I would need to check my original save, if I can, to see how many I found. Because the Master Archivist is read all notes in all games, not only in the Dark Descent. And as I said, I do believe A Machine for Pigs has the highest amount of notes. So there's a really high chance that I missed a few there. But we can actually check and see what our statistics are so far. So I can start up the game. No, I cannot check how many tinderboxes I found, and really it doesn't matter because, as I said, there are no checkpoints. I can't save manually, I can't reload parts, but I can reload my Dark Descent save. I do believe it reloads to right before the Inner Sanctum, the ending, because I finished the game already, well, multiple times actually. And we can check how many notes and journals we have in that save. Cheating. Partially I can understand. I understand when some people want to completely do trophies and challenges on their own. Why I decide to look at some information is because I don't want to replay the games a million times, because I know it would get tiresome to watch and it would get tiresome to play. So that's why I decide on kind of an in-between way. I don't look at guides that tell me how to do something, but when it comes to collectibles, I want to know at least the magnitude of the items I want to find, how many I'm looking for. Because in many games, you get that information in the game, and then I know, okay, I missed this many, or I missed this many. Here, that information is not included. That is fair, but I would like to know. So here in the notes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have, let me write it down, in the Dark Descent, really important, it's the Dark Descent. It's written with a T because it's a noun. Descend, written with a D, is a verb. Now with diaries we have plenty. So notes, we have 20. That's a really round number, I like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now if you are not silly like me, then you already know that there are 12 on one page and you don't recount it, but it's more interesting like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I think I found all the diaries. That's the part that I feel alright about. And apparently here we found 12 plus 10, that's 22. And the mementos are not collectibles, they are just little scribbles from Daniel telling us what we should do in case we get stuck. It's kind of how he keeps track of what he should do. It's like a mission or quest kind of menu for that. It's a clever thing, honestly. Even though most of the time when I really got stuck, it did not help much, but hey. It's the thought that counts or something like that, I guess. So, I have great news because 20 plus 22 is exactly 42. And in theory there are 44. So I missed 2 and I would think those are notes. But I found almost all of them. So I feel pretty happy about that. And I would guess that it means that there are 22 notes and 22 diary entries in the game. At least that's my guess. So it's an even share. No, it is not explained here. Just how many exactly there are, but we don't worry about that. The other is the Master Archivist. Now let me see here. So here, for this trophy, the Master Archivist, which is all the notes, let's see what the guy tells us. So, for the notes in the Dark Descent and Justine, consult the Illuminatus guide. Yes, we already did that. And the Still Alive. The Still Alive one is actually this one, because that's kind of a rare note. But the question is, how many notes are there in total? Yes, how many? Tinderboxes and photographs are not shown as they aren't required for any of the trophies. Wonderful. So that's 3 plus 4, that's 7, 8, 9. So in Justine, so in the Dark Descent we have 44 notes, in Justine we have 9. Interesting number, I have to say. And in a Machine for Pigs we have a total of how many? If you found all of the notes and diaries in the former 2 games, this trophy will pop after finding 44 notes in a Machine for Pigs. There are only 44 notes in a Machine for Pigs? Well, that's mighty interesting. So I guess why in the Machine for Pigs I felt like there are so much more reading to do is because they were longer, maybe, or just because they were in all under one collection. So there were no journals, so to speak. Well, they were journals, but not in that way. That's really interesting. Photographs and phone conversations are not shown as they are, again, not required for any trophies. So the phone conversations are not required. That's good to know. So we are looking at a total of 44 plus 44, that is 88, plus 9, that is 97 collectibles we have to find for the Master Archivist, and 151 tinderboxes in the first game to find and get these 2 trophies. That will be fun. Deck nuts? What do you mean? Is that some new kind of knot they discovered? I'm not sure. I haven't read my daily biological discoveries newspaper. Well, mostly because they don't send to my address. It's honestly almost offensive how many companies don't ship to my realm. It's really annoying. I'm just stuck with digital downloads all the time. But with that, overall, we are at 17 trophies out of the 23 of this collection, and we have, well, in theory, at least 2 additional playthroughs of most probably both games. But hey, I will check, just for the heck of it, I will check how many notes did we find in a machine for pigs. We know that there are 44 in total. Let's see how many did we find. I'm almost 100% sure that I missed some of them. If I didn't, and I didn't get the trophy because I missed them in the Dark Descent, I would be surprised. I have to say, I would be surprised. But again, it's really intriguing to me how in this game it felt like there was so much more to read. But I really feel like the big difference is that they are all categorized in one menu instead of 2, the notes and the journals, and they are mostly longer. I do believe some of them were 2 pages and not only 1. But we'll see, as soon as the game decides to actually load. I know it's a PlayStation 4. I'm still happy that it works, to be perfectly honest. It's just... It's just fascinating to me that this lovely console still can work so hard and play all of these games and allows me to stream. Alright, enough of the crazy music. Let's see. So here you can see that we have our journals, but I do believe these are more like the mementos in the first game, and these don't count. These are just how in the Dark Descent the mementos were reminders of what we should do next, and they disappeared actually once we finished them. They were quest reminders. Here these are just scribbles of what happened or along our adventure here. So everything is under the found documents, and that's why you can see it's much longer 4 pages, because everything is just in one category. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12, and then we have 24, and then we have 24, 36, 37, 38, 39. So we got 39 out of 44, which means, yes, indeed, we missed more than in the Dark Descent. No surprise. Not at all. Not at all surprise. So, let's get out of this game. And with that, let's see our overall missions for the next playthroughs of these games. So if we want to get the platinum, not even the 100%, because that also requires the hard playthrough, and I'm not looking forward to that, we have to find 151 tinderboxes in the Dark Descent, which I cannot check how many I found last time around. And we also have to find 97 notes and journal entries throughout the 3 games. And what we know is, out of the 44 in the Dark Descent, we found 42, which is annoying because it would have been nice to find them all. But then again, at least we have multiple things to replay the game for, because otherwise we would only be hunting for the tinderboxes, and you know, it's better that we have multiple reasons to replay it for. I'm not at all making excuses for why I missed 2 notes, because I don't know how I missed them, but ooh, it's annoying. But we will find it. In Justine there are 9, and I think I found them. I really do hope so. I'm not sure. Interestingly enough, in this last playthrough, I did not pick them all up because I was going faster, but I do believe there... Let's try to think about it. There was, in the first chamber, there was the love letter and the letter to the police chief, right? That was about how they want to arrest Justine. So that's 2. We had in the second part... No, before the second part, in the workshop, there is one note. I do believe that is the newspaper clipping that tells us how the concert went wrong. Then we have, in the library, we have the emotion journal. That is in the room with the paintings of the family members. And then we have the research papers that the father of Justine wrote about how she always chooses specific slide, and how this shadow box works, I do believe, well with her. Now then we had the portal reference. We had, that was next to the shadow box, we had the letter from Herbert that was on the bookshelf in the room with the desk, and the other note, I put the paper on top of the candlesticks, so that was slightly hidden. And then we go forward. In the water area we find the letter from Daniel on a shelf or bookshelf, and then we find the last one is the unfinished letter that is addressed to Herbert. That's next to the grave. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we did find all of them in Justine. And then there are 44 that are in A Machine for Pigs. And I found 39 of them. So I missed a total of 7 out of the 97. Not so bad. Not so bad in my opinion. So we will have to replay these games later on. I'm honestly not sure where to go from this point, because I wanted to return to Justine for this replay because I wanted to find the last ending, because I felt this is not just a trophy but a part of the game, and I can't necessarily say that I played these games if I haven't gotten to all of the endings, especially because they don't require full on long playthroughs. In the first game you can just reload the save from the last checkpoint, because only your choice right at the end changes the overall ending. In Justine you have to replay it, but it's much shorter. And in A Machine for Pigs, I do believe it only has one ending, in my opinion. I tried a second one at the end of my playthrough, but it didn't work. Maybe there is something more convoluted, and maybe there is a secret ending, but I don't know about one. So that's why I returned to this, this one, but I'm not sure if my viewers would be interested in watching me play through the first 2 long games just for collecting and trophy hunting. Maybe I should move on to Rebirth, the 3rd game, or maybe play some other franchise on Fridays from now on. I'm not sure. I will skip Friday next week because other dates are given dates are specifically fall on next week, so I will be streaming on those days. But I would love to hear your opinions, what I should play next on Friday, being Friday. So we could replay these Amnesia games. We could continue with the next installment in the series, or take a short break from Amnesia, maybe return to Doom, which we played before Amnesia, and either replay Doom 3 for some trophies, or maybe play Doom 2016 and continue with the series, or maybe start an entirely new franchise. I'm not sure. I will probably write a post about it on my Blue Sky on X, so if you are interested and would like to cast your vote regarding what game or franchise we will be playing next on Friday, then please don't forget to check out my socials. Let me use my trusty command, which actually works wonderful. You can look at my card page, and there you can find all of my social media, and I will post about what I shall play next there, as well as on my Discord channel. If you would like to join, then you can use the Discord invite redeem amongst the channel point rewards. But that is it for today. I will be back next week with I have no clue what, but that's just the usual schedule. Don't worry, I will probably figure it out during the weekend. Until that, however, I have to find someone to raid. Do we have any suggestions? Whom shall I raid? Who's online? That's a good question. We have a few. We have a few possible candidates. Not sure yet. I know this is so exciting to watch. I know. Let me see. What is this game? I have never heard about it. But hey, why not? Why not? We are going to raid Timbatir, who is playing American Arcadia. I have never heard about this game. However, I do know one thing, and that is Timbatir recently started demo days during which she plays all sorts of demos from Steam, and she made this wheel full of titles that she spins and then plays the demo, the title of which the needle landed. Now the fun part of that is there are some 100 games on that wheel now, because Timbatir really likes her demos. So if you are interested in all sorts of interesting and not so well known indie games and demos and upcoming titles, then please give a look or take a look at Timbatir's channel, and please say hello to her on the raid. Thank you so much for joining me today. As chaotic as this stream was, I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next week. Have a great day, and as always, good night.